everyone, and welcome back to Baron's Den for a Secret Team special. And today we're looking at the Undead Pirate Team. So, what are the Secret Teams? They are a series of teams created on the Fumble website as additional teams that you can play as, drawing inspiration from Warhammer Fantasy, the different races, the different peoples, different cultures there, to just provide more teams for people to play with, primarily through Fumble, but of course people have taken these teams to heart and play them outside of that on the tabletop as well. These are not official teams. None of them are official. Some of them were Fumble Secret teams, and Games Workshop happened to have bought out their version of that team anyway, such as the Gnome team, I think, Snotlings and Khorne, all were secret teams at one point, but obviously as Games Workshop have bought out an official version, the secret team ones have disappeared. And so I thought it would be interesting to explore some of these teams, particularly the ones where you can find the models out there to represent them fairly easily. There's nothing to stop you modding, obviously, existing models to build these secret teams. However, for someone like me who doesn't 3D print, who isn't particularly skilled at sculpting or even the most basic modelling, it's really useful to have a place where you can actually buy some of these teams almost ready-made. And so today we're looking at my favourite of the secret teams, for the inspiration anyway, and that is the Undead Pirate Team. Now this one you can see here is from the Punga website, Punga Miniatures. This you can buy as a complete team, so I will post a link in the description so you can have a look at that and yeah, see what you think. But I think it's a brilliant team, brilliant models, full of character, and I think it encapsulates what this team is all about very well. So let's crack on. So first of all, the first player on the Undead Pirate team is the Humble Zombie Pirate. They're just called zombies, but you know, they're going to be zombie pirates, aren't they? So this is your quintessential zombie, isn't it? Movement 4, Strength 3, Agility 4+, no passing, Armour 9+, cost of 40,000 with primary access just for general, and then Agility and Strength on secondaries. It's just got regeneration. I love zombies. I'm unashamed to say they're one of my favourite linemen. I think they do the role of a lineman superbly. They just stand up, get hit, they then stand back up again. So I rate them quite highly. They're going to fulfil a very similar role on this team, with the added bonus of there's a player with animal savagery on this team, and so having a zombie nearby that is willing to get punched down is also useful for them not causing too much damage to your own team. Because while zombies aren't invulnerable, you're not going to be too upset about losing the odd zombie. So yeah, all in all, I think they're a solid lineman choice. I mean, don't get me wrong, stats-wise, they are useless. They're slow, they can't pick up the ball easily, they can't pass, they're never dodging anywhere. But for the role that they fulfill on the team, which is to be meat shields, cannon fodder, screens getting in the way, I think they perform it well. And I love my zombies on my Necromantic Horror. Okay, so the next player we've got is the Skeleton Pirate. Now this chap is very different to the skeleton that you see in the Tomb King and Undead teams. Well, I say very different. The stat line will look familiar. Movement 5, Strength 3, Agility 4+, and Armour 8+. And you think, okay, yep, standard skeleton. And then you see the cost, 80,000, so double the cost of a normal skeleton. So let's find out why. Well, it's not in their skill access because they're still only getting generals on primary and agility and strength on secondary. However, if we look at their skills and traits, they've got regenerate and thick skull, like a normal skeleton would have, but then they come with jump up and stab. Now, jump up's not too bad, but would you pay 40,000 to get jump up and stab? And that's the question. You can only get 2 of them as well, so really, these are positionals on your team, and I'm not quite sure. I haven't managed to get the best out of these guys. They're a little bit more mobile, and the stab can be useful now and then, but you know, they're not really, they can't really use them as ball carriers. They're just a little bit quicker than the zombie, but just as bad at handling the ball. And at Armour 8+, they're a bit flimsy. So yes, not too sure on the Skeleton Pirate myself yet. Then we've got the Cyrene, one of the stars of the show, no doubt. So straight away, you know, what comes to mind is you're like, not mermaids, but you know, the ocean spirits that lure people to their deaths. that kind of image. Okay, so movement 7, strength 3. So quick, reasonable strength, not great. Agility 3 plus, so already the most agile player on the pitch. Passing 3 plus, so actually passing 3 plus, so they can actually pass the ball as well. Armor 9 plus. 110,000 is very expensive though, so you've got to be thinking there's got to be something in the skills that makes these players worthwhile. They do have agility access, so again, looking at a potential ball carrier, it's got the movement, it's got access to block and dodge, so it's definitely got potential there. Its skills and traits is foul appearance and disturbing presence, very much like your wraiths, but it also has sidestep and shadowing. And one thing it doesn't have is no hands, so this player can handle the ball. Shadowing is okay on movement 7, and it's got armor 9 plus, so they're not too flimsy. Sidestep is very useful, but you're going to be wanting to get skills like block and dodge. I'm not sure if she's worth her cost of 110,000, but definitely one of the better players on the team, and of course giving it a lot more character, shall we say. Then we've got the animated Hulks. Ignore the skeleton down there. This is the dude we're looking at. As you can see, they are basically, you can represent them as undead ogres, zombie ogres, but either way you could look at them is like, if you think of the Vampire Coast in Warhammer Total War, like the giant crabs or things like that. Just basically an underwater animated big guy is what you'd want to represent this. I quite like it as a zombie ogre, which the Punga have gone for, but you could do it a number of ways. So they're movement 4, so they're slower than a regular ogre. Strength 5, agility 5 plus. So are they less agile than an ogre? Are they the same? I can't remember what an ogre is. I think an ogre is 4 plus, isn't it? So it's slower, less agile, same armor, can't pass. So it can't actually throw. Not that you'd have anyone to throw, but the ogre is completely out the passing game. As such, it's only 130,000, so it is a bit cheaper, and it comes only with strength access. Its skills and traits: loner as you'd expect, bonehead as you'd expect. Regenerate is very useful on a big guy. There's not many big guys that have regenerate. Thick skull and mighty blow as usual. So what you're doing is you're losing movement and agility. You're gaining regenerate. And the other thing you get is you're allowed 2 of them, which makes them, I think, some of the more interesting players on the team. So that's your zombie ogre or animated Hulk. And finally, you've got this guy who's just ridiculous. So this is the Vampire Lord. You're only allowed 1 of these, which is one reason why this team would never be released in the Games Workshop kit, because you can't see them having a 0 to 1 positional within a box. But yes, so the Vampire Lord, movement 6, decent. Strength 5, ridiculous. So this guy is stronger than any vampire on the new vampire team. Agility 2 plus. Strength 5, agility 2 plus is Luther von Drakenberg levels of ridiculousness. Passing 3 plus, so again, not bad. Armor 9 plus. He's a whopping 160, but he has general agility strength access, typical of a vampire. And then he's got animal savagery, regenerate, and hypnotic gaze. So the idea is this isn't just your average like vampire or even vampire throw. This is a vampire lord. So that's why it's got the high strength. It doesn't have bloodlust because I believe this update to the Undead Pirate team came out before the vampire team did. So it might be that animal savagery does get replaced by bloodlust. I think there was a fluff reason for why it had animal savagery, because it's been out on its own on the seas, probably living off animals, especially if it's been surrounded by undead all this time, so it's used to sating its bloodthirst on animals. However, it has made him very angry, which is why he's got animal savagery. But obviously you've got the hypnotic gaze and the regen. Phenomenal player, really. I mean, you get block and dodge on this guy, and he's an absolute beast. So definitely the reason why you come to the Vampire Pirate team. It's a load of pretty much an average to useless team with one amazing player, but it's full of character. So other bits of information: rerolls 70k. They're not allowed an apothecary. They are Sylvanian Spotlight, obviously, and Masters of Undeath Zombie, which I think means Masters of Undeath is you can bring somebody back, can't you? But obviously you can't bring them back as a skeleton. You'd have to bring them back as a zombie. I think that's what that is. They'd go into tier 2, which I think they'd be towards the bottom of tier 2, if I'm honest. I think of all the undead teams that are official, if this was added to it, it would be the weakest of the four. But I love the theme. I love the theme. It's very much Pirates of the Caribbean, undead style, Vampire Coast. It's just very much a popular theme, the whole vampire or undead pirate. And the Punga version, I think, looks incredible. If there is ever a secret league tournament that takes place on tabletop, I would definitely look to bring undead pirates, because I think they look like a lot of fun. In terms of how you develop this team, I think you'd the animated Hulks, just think of your traditional ogre path, except you wouldn't lean into any throw teammates, so you'd be looking at getting guard and block, or if you were thinking of not skipping over block because it's too expensive, you could look at Brawler or Juggernaut if you're intending to blitz with him. But being slow and not very agile, I'd say Brawler probably is more useful than that. Break Tackle isn't so much of a good option because it would only make you dodging on a 3+. With Loner, I'm not sure that's even worth it. Your Sirens, again, if you're looking at a ball carrier, maybe one as a ball carrier, so you'd be getting your block and dodge and maybe looking to boost the movement or agility. With the other one, you could use as a ball sacker or nuisance player that can have diving tackle maybe, and it's already got the sidestep and the shadowing. Give it tackle and wrestle, strip ball. The skeletons, I don't know what you do with them. Still haven't worked them out. When I've created a fumble team, I put them in, and if I was doing a tabletop league, I'd start with at least one. You'd got to give them a go, but don't quite know what you do with them. Maybe a dirty player. I mean, if there's already stabbing people, you might as well get him being a dirty player as well. But it's quite an expensive dirty player then, isn't it? You're probably better off doing that with just a zombie. And then your zombies, you do what I always do with zombies, and that's fish for things like kick and dirty player. Be happy if you get block or wrestle. Be satisfied if you get fend. Things like Dauntless is a little bit more of a decision on whether you fire that player then. And then the others probably wouldn't bother with. Certainly not something like Sure Hands, because you're never using this guy as a ball carrier. And then I'd build from there. So if you get a dirty player, then I'd just be saving up for Sneaky Git. If you got a kick, I'd then stick block on to protect it. If you got wrestle, you might look at giving it tackle. And then if you got one of the satisfactory ones, or maybe block or wrestle, you could always random your second skill as well, just to see what you'd get. But then there's always a danger you end up with Sure Hands, or what's the other one? Safe Pair of Hands, is it? Is that that's a general skill, I think, isn't it? One where you can place the ball on the floor once you get knocked over, yeah. So there's definitely skills for zombies there that could ruin a player. But it is a way of trying to maximise your team value. Okay, so that's the Undead Pirate team. We'll hope to look at a few of these secret teams, because more and more of them now are being represented by models from third-party teams. So that's really exciting. Anyway, don't forget to leave a comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you very much. Bye for now.